The controversial Senate Bill 2 is up for a vote today in the Texas House.
Governor Greg Abbott says parents deserve a choice to send their children to private school, but opponents say it is a surefire way to drain public school funding. Joining us now is Andy Dewey with the Houston Federation of Teachers, the union representing public school employees across HISD. Andy, thanks so much for joining us. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get right to it. HFT has been an outspoken critic of these vouchers. Tell us your biggest concerns about the possibility of this bill passing.
Well, of course, it's money. All right. Vouchers will certainly drain money from the public school system. The basic allotment pays public schools per pupil to fund the entire program. Every child that moves from public school into a private school, the school district will lose that money. The state also has a budget surplus from last session of $34 billion. They're putting $1 billion into vouchers. That's $1 billion that could go into public schools that they're simply not going to get this year. Despite the added cost of educating children, inflation, more children, school districts are actually losing out per pupil because of this.
And Andy, we know that Governor Abbott has touted school choice as something that'll help all families, including working families. Proponents saying parents deserve the option to choose a private education. What do you say to that?
School choice has always existed. The tens of thousands of children already going to private schools is proof of that. Parents have made the decisions to send their child to private schools, and they have that right to do so. Whatever a way that they choose to pay for, whether they have one job that can pay for it or they have to take a second job. Well, these are decisions parents have always made on how to best spend their money to support their families. So the statement that they do not have choice is quite frankly untrue, and it's disingenuous of the governor to use that term.
If taxpayer funds go towards vouchers, walk us through the impact here. What do you think the impact will be, not just on public schools, but on teachers and on the ability to recruit and retain?
We're already seeing around the state, HISD is an example of schools being underfunded. In HISD, there's a proposal to close schools. That is simply going to make the remaining schools more crowded, more difficult to teach because of crowded class sizes. And there comes a point where teachers are going to look at other school districts and say, you know what, maybe it's better to go somewhere else. The impacts can be just a domino effect down the road if you do not have funding to do the job you're expected to do.
Yeah, and finally here, Andy, why do you think the Texas Constitution requires the legislature to establish a system of public schools, yet never mentions state support of private and religious schools?
Well, the writers of the Texas Constitution rightly understood that education was a public good. Sure, it benefited the individual child, but it benefits the entire state too, the state economy, the ability to make money, and so on and so forth. And they emphasized in the Constitution that it was the job of the legislature to establish public schools. They said not a word about private schools, all right, because public schools are for the common good and everybody benefits from it. Even those people who choose to send their children to private schools benefit from the fact that the state has a well-educated workforce through the public school system. And so it is frankly, vouchers for private and religious schools is taking Texas down a pathway that was never intended to go down. We support public education.
Certainly a lot of components and viewpoints to this controversial bill. Andy, thank you so much. Andy Dewey with the Houston Federation of Teachers.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Andy.